The rumor is I'm on your payroll. Carlos King brought him in for damage control. I'm like, damage control? I got a question for you, Carlos. I'm your friend and I'm this and all these accolades. You ain't never put me on one of your shows.
Okay, you wanna go there now?
I wanna go
Let's
there.
go there.
I wanna go there right now.
Give it up for the king of YouTube, Bucky Dineva. You know, who were you as a little gay black boy growing up in Miami?
This is when I knew my mouth was a weapon. There was this kid in class that was just bothering me. And I just turned around and I just went off on him. In that moment, the class erupted in laughter. Instead of him like getting up and hitting me, he started crying. My reputation became, ooh, don't say nothing to that skinny gay boy. He'll rank you and make you cry. And from that moment on, I was like, ooh, bitch, I got something.
What was your relationship like with your father? Did you guys ever have conversation about you being gay? Did you ever come out to him?
Mind you, this non-emotional black man, and he said to me, you've been walking around all these years carrying a burden that was mine to carry for you. Whoa. Boys can have daddy issues too. You know, my first sexual encounters were with extremely older men, 15 and they're like 40.
You were molested.
I know that now. Why are you getting all my tea like a therapist?
But one of the biggest misconceptions about you is that you are this messy black queen.
Baby, I could unravel so many reality TV shows right now, baby.
Did Sheree Whitfield sue you?
Oh yeah, so
Who would you say is a YouTube blogger that you feel like has next?
there's a lot of people out there. Armon is good in silo that he's good in, like that female rap. That was why, you know, when I made my departure from Fox Soul, which is a perfect segue, because I'm sure that's where we're going. They needed somebody who was brazen, cavalier, not afraid to speak. He or T.S. Madison were the best ones.
Was Madison asked first before Armon? Why were you so unhappy at TeaGIF?
Just every damn day you came to work, it was fucking something. The deal fell through over $250.
What was it between Claudia and Al that just made things so negative working at that time?
I know that they had
Allegedly, Al would contact producers, human resources, and do a lot of complaints and was a diva behind the scene. Would that be true?
So
When you saw Armon's roast, what was your first thought?
I thought it was extremely unprofessional. I thought it was gross.
When you learned that it was officially canceled, what was the first thought that went through?
This is stupid. And y'all had something and it could have taken everybody to the next level. Y'all could have, I could have been like Portia, took a season off and came back.
A lot of people feel like you hate black women. A lot of people feel like you are very disrespectful to black women.
So
What's next for the doll?
syndicated nighttime talk. This is the first time I'm saying this publicly. I'll be back in Atlanta in September. I'm coming to kick ass and take names. That's some exclusive tea.
Hey Raindrops, now before we get into this video, I want to talk to you about joining my community. Yes, my YouTube community of subscribers. So make sure you like and subscribe to this channel. It helps build the channel and build our community. I love it when you guys comment and post. So remember, make sure to like and subscribe to this channel.
Raindrops is the moment you've all been waiting for. Not only is this person my friend in real life, I'm also one of his biggest fans. He is a legend. I am so proud of him. And we've been trying to do this for a long time, but God is good and we do things in God's timing. So without further ado, give it up for the king of YouTube. Yes, that's his title. And I ain't trying to take it, child. Give it up for the king of YouTube, Bucky Dineva.
You know what, that means a lot coming from you. I got a question for you, Carlos.
I'm not you. Wait, how you gonna ask me questions?
I'm your friend and I'm this and all these accolades. You ain't never put me on one of your shows.
Okay, you want to go there now?
I want to go
Let's
there.
go there.
I want to go there right now.
Don't
I met Carlos over a decade ago
Yes.
at Vita with Derek J. Derek J was like, oh, this is
Yes.
Carlos. I met him and yada, yada, yada. Carlos ain't never put me, and as much as I reviewed them shows and sent all them ratings over there, these hoes ain't never put me in any of these. I'm just joking.
Okay, the thing is this. I have created and developed multiple shows for you that people don't know about. Because you know I move in silence.
Mm-hmm.
I have had pitch meetings with you.
Mm-hmm. We did do that.
Okay,
I remember
no,
that. I do remember that.
And when it comes to you, you did appear on Love and Marriage Huntsville.
I did.
Thank you very much. Now, look, that's a show that I created and have some control. Now, the shows prior to that, I had no control. Funky. And you know, you can't go to Chateau Sheree's residence and expect to get on Atlanta Housewives, girl.
All in front of the people's house with dildos and stuff.
Doing your beat reporting.
Okay? In drag. Oh my God, we have come such a long way.
No, and I want to say this to you before we get started. You know I love you.
I love you more.
You and I are really friends.
Yes.
And we know so much about each other.
We do.
And we have never spilled each other's tea.
Or slept with each other. Because I normally sleep with all my friends. I do.
You do?
It's almost a criteria to be my friend.
You have slept with all your friends?
Just about. 9 times out of 10, if you see me, that's some exclusive tea.
Now I gotta see why I love him. Because listen, he keeps it real, and so do I. But no, I want people to know this side of you. Because the man who I know is really Quentin.
Indeed.
Okay? And I want to go back a little bit before we start about the amazing things you're doing now and have done in the past. A lot of people don't know much about you, which is
by design.
By design. So you are a Floridian.
At Miami.
Born and raised.
Born and raised.
Talk to me about, like, who were you as a little gay black boy growing up in Miami?
Ooh, awkward, insecure. I was skinny, awkward, unattractive, insecure. Always knew that I wanted to be a star, and always knew that I was smart as fuck. Now, one thing that I want to like impress upon parents, that like pouring into your kids and like saying, oh, you are kind, you are smart, you are beautiful, like that thing, that really does work. Because one thing that my parents did well was fortify the fact that I was smart. I was never the athletic kid. I was never the kid that people desired sexually. I was smart. I was the kid that my mom's friends would be over, and like she'd wake me up out of bed and be like, get up, do your poem. Get up and do your poem. You know what I'm saying? Or like I would speak, and if I would say, you know, ain't, my mom's like, ain't, and she slapped my hand, ain't a word. And so, you know, growing up, that was one thing that I knew I had over everybody in the room around me. I was always the smart kid. And then on top of that, I was always the funny kid. And I learned very early on, you know, when you're a kid, it's the attractive kids and it's the athletic kids that get all of the glory and the popularity. And I was like, well, that's not my trump card. What was yours? And I learned that humor was my card. And that's why people kept me around. And that's how I got into the circles. I was the funny kid. And then again, too, being my mouth. You know, when you're awkward and skinny and you're gay, and mind you, elementary school, middle school, even early high school, I had no concept of what gay was. I didn't know. I knew I was different than everybody else. Now, all the other kids were calling me sissy and a faggot and all this type of stuff. And it's weird because I grew up in Carroll City, now called Miami Gardens, inner city Miami. But in my, up until 3rd grade, I went to a white private school. And you know, so funny, both of my parents are dead now, and I don't know why they took me out of private school. They probably couldn't afford it anymore. But 4th grade, I get taken out of private school and thrust into inner city black school. And I don't understand these black kids. I really didn't. Like, I came from an environment where people wore uniforms and nice shoes and spoke proper English, and violence and anger and rap music. None of that stuff existed in the private school environment. And then all of a sudden now I'm in 4th grade around these, for lack of a better word, progetic ass children that's talking all this slang, and they're so steeped in black culture, and I had no idea what the hell was going on. And so, you know, I got teased and bullied and pushed on and hit on a lot.
They bullied you physically.
Yeah, at times. Yeah, there were times, you know, you go to the bathroom and kid push you down or push you into a wall. And I didn't come from a family of like rough and tumble cousins where we were in the yard fighting and stuff. That just was not, I was just not a tough and rumble kid. And I will never forget, and this is when I knew my mouth was a weapon. There was this kid in class that was just bothering me. And I just turned around and I just went off on him. And I was scared to do it when I did it, but I did. And in that moment, the class erupted in laughter. And instead of him like getting up and hitting me, he started crying. And then my reputation became, ooh, don't say nothing to that skinny gay boy. He'll rank you and make you cry. And from that moment on, I was like, ooh, bitch, I got something. And I used my mouth to back a motherfucker up off me. And it's been that way. And that's when I knew. I was like, you got something. You got something. And that's why to this day, at 40 years old, a bitch do not want to tongue wrestle with me because you're not going to win. But that was how it happened. It was a defense mechanism.
Been called fat sissies and stuff. Mm-hmm. Thankfully, I wasn't physically bullied. Mm-hmm. But I can relate to you in the sense of you have to defend yourself. And it's no mistake that you and I have created this path for ourselves to where we are self-made and we use our voice to be a weapon.
Yeah. And I've had to learn how to hone that too. And you know, I also was the kid that got talked too much on Progress Report. Mm-hmm. I was the kid that got talked too much. I was the kid that, you know, at times, like, you know, my parents would, you know, be quiet, go sit down, be quiet, stop talking, be quiet, stop talking. And it's weird though, because like in elementary, when I went to the public school, I was on the morning announcements. Middle school, you know, I always was wrote poetry contests, oratorical contests. High school again, you know, morning announcements, most of my years there. Drama. And it's just so funny how the thing that people told me was, you know, defective in me is the thing that brought me over, which is my mouth. And so my cautionary tale to parents out there is don't tell your kids they talk too much. Like, figure out a way to hone that talent. Granted, my parents were doing the best they could with what they had, but in a perfect world, they would have honed that talent, put me in drama classes or stage or theater or something. But it's just so weird how, you know, I was always told I talk too much, and now I talk for a living, a very good living, as you know, as we know. Mm-hmm. But yeah.
So let's talk about your household though. So you grew up in a 2-parent household.
No, my parents divorced when I was a baby. I don't have any recollection whatsoever of my parents being together. If I'm not mistaken, I think my parents divorced when I was a few months old. So the only memories that I do have, or the only familial configuration that I do have, is me and my mom, and then my dad, my stepmom, and the family that I had at that house. But my father is very much present. It's one of those things I went to my dad's house on the weekends and on holidays. And then when I was about 14 years old, I think in the 10th grade, I moved in with my dad permanently until I went off to college.
What was your relation like with your father?
So my father was a provider beyond measure. My father probably was the best provider that any family could ever want. He prided himself in that because my father grew up dirt poor in rural Mississippi. His father, you know, wasn't present or whatever. So, you know, he, you know, I think operated in survival mode. As it relates to being bonded with one another, that didn't exist. having an emotional connection that didn't exist. My father couldn't tell you my favorite things to eat, my friends, my favorite colors, what I like to do. It just, like many black men from the South, they just come from nothing. Affection and being loving, it just was a luxury that they were not afforded coming up. And I guess they did not know how to do it. You know what I'm saying? And so yeah, he was there, he was present, he, provided. But as far as him and I like being connected, and me being like, Dad, this is what's going on, or us talking, or him like picking me up from school and taking me to McDonald's to get a Happy Meal, those things didn't happen.
Did you guys ever have conversation about you being gay? Did you ever come out to him?
Yeah. So it's so funny, being black, you automatically assume that your father is going to be the one who has the issue and that your mother is going to be the one that coddles you. And it was the other way around. I'll never forget, I was about maybe like 23, 24, 25, somewhere in there. My mom had known for 2 years, and he and my stepmom were in the living room. And, we were having a larger conversation, and I told him. And he looked at me and he said, "You didn't even have to tell me that." He was like, I watch those white people on MTV. I see what they do to their kids. He was like, "What do you think of me?" And he said, "Even if you were a serial killer, you're still my son. I have to love you." And then he took it a step further, mind you, this non-emotional black man, and he said to me, "You've been walking around all these years carrying a burden that was mine to carry for you." And I was like, whoa. Because when it comes to like a, showing like emotion and connectiveness, I had never, ever gotten a level of like intimacy or like emotional connection from my father. So I never thought he would have ever said something like that. And I'm gonna be honest with you, a large part of me, because that is so counter who he is and was, a large part of me feels like my dad probably researched that online and kind of had that in his back pocket. Because it was just too poetic. It was too
good.
deep. It was too loving. It was too let me wrap my arms around you and love on you. And that's just not who he is. He had never said anything to me or anyone in my presence remotely that poetic before. You know what I'm saying? And if I'm being honest, just his actions throughout my life didn't reflect that. You know what I'm saying?
Was he mean to you?
No, he wasn't mean. He was just not present, like emotionally. Like he was there. My father was in my life. I'm not one of those, he ain't got no daddy, that's why he's gay. No, my father was there. Didn't want for anything. Made sure we had the best of the best. I have to always give him that. But as far as like, son, let me put my arm around you and love on you, it just simply did not exist.
I'm gonna say this to you. I relate to you on that too. My father is in my life. He's alive. My mom is deceased. Me and my father were not at all close growing up at all. Just wasn't. He was in the house.
Yeah. But not there. Present in the house, but just not present, just not there.
Just not to me.
Yeah.
To my brothers who watch sports with him, sure. My sisters. To gay Carlos, not at all. And it took me later in life, and I'm saying this because I want to speak on behalf of your father, if I may. Well, I learned from my father being born in 1949, having to grow up drinking from the colored water fountain. Having a father who picked cotton, being born where you are told in Detroit, Michigan, as a teenager, the best you can be is working at Ford Motor Company, GM or Chrysler, work at a plant. And that's what he did because he forgone his dreams of being a musician because he had all these kids.
Yeah,
You know, I
take
have
care of family.
10
Yep.
kids, right? I mean, 10 siblings. So what I learned, Quentin, is this. My father being born in 1949, that's all he knew was to be a provider. And he wasn't raised as a black man in the 50s or the 60s to have emotion because God forbid you showed emotion, you would get beat by the man. Not only physically, emotionally as well. And it took me to talk to my father, I was 35, I think. And we had a conversation, and he said to me, and I'm glad we had the conversation, but he said to me, I had no idea you felt this way, and I had no idea I was doing that, and I'm sorry. And now we're like the best of friends. We talk every day. He's spoiled. He wants everything, child. I bought him a new car, and we're good. So I want to say that on behalf of your father, but it took me to put myself in my father's shoes.
Most definitely.
And to be like, who would I be if I was born in 1949? And once I put myself in that position, I forgave him for all the times he was emotionalist to me.
Yeah, I mean, that definitely through growth, maturity, and therapy is one of those things that I realized. You know, Billy Porter said it best, and he said, sometimes our family just do not have the tools to love us the way we need to be loved. You know what I'm saying? And it's weird because, you know, oftentimes when we talk about people having daddy issues, you know, we oftentimes think of girls and promiscuity in girls. And I just think it's worth noting, well, why are you getting all my tea like a therapist? I just think it's worth noting that boys can have daddy issues too. Like, I remember when I first became sexually active, and you know, my first sexual encounters were with extremely older men.
Like how old?
Like, I'm like 15 and they're like 40.
You were molested.
I know that now.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Wow.
I know that now, and it's weird because I don't know that I call it that and it's full regalia, because it's not like, you know, oh, I was sleeping somewhere and someone touched me. It was something that I sought out.
How do you seek that out at 15? Was it just
The internet, AOL, Miami Men for Men, the chat lines.
And these predators,
Yeah.
don't make me cry this interview. Okay.
Yeah. And so, you know,
Wow.
it manifested itself that way. When I would come home from college, like I come home for Christmas or whatever, I would go to like my friend's house after we did Christmas dinner at my house. I would go to like my friend's house and I would just take to their dads, you know what I'm saying? Because their dads were just, you know, being the whole Bill Cosby thing. And I found myself taking to their dads or taking to their uncles. But that's kind of how that can manifest itself. And it wasn't, by the time you met me, my first live-in boyfriend in Atlanta, I was 26. No, I was 24. And he was 46. You know what I'm saying? And it's you know, searching for that. You know, luckily, you know, through time and, you know, also having conversations. It's funny because after I came out to my father and we had that conversation, just that level of giving me something emotionally, it honestly, it cured that in 30 seconds. Literally, the moment I got up out of that living room from that conversation when I came out, my attraction to older men, it dissipated instantly. It's weird.
So what was your relationship like with your mom? Because you said that your father accepted your sexuality, which is rare for the father, especially a black father, because it's no dream of most black fathers to have a gay son, especially back in our day. Your mother had a problem with it?
Oh, yeah. My mom had a problem. So first and foremost, you know, my mom, much like yours, is deceased. The biggest blow to me when my mom died was the fact that I lost my biggest cheerleader. Let me tell you something. My mother was the type, if I said, Mommy, I want to be an astronaut, baby, she was at Barnes & Noble buying astronaut books, bringing them home. If I said, Mommy, if I changed my mind the next day and said, Mommy, I want to be a figure skater, baby, she was looking in the yellow pages looking for figure skating classes. Like, I was her baby. I could do anything. I was the smartest kid on the planet. My kid is better than yours. And your child do that? Mine could do it too. Let me sign him up. Like, she was my biggest cheerleader. And I love her and I miss her so much for that. As it relates to the homosexuality thing, just like much, black communities, inner city, growing up impoverished, the church, all of that stuff. I grew up in a household where, my mom and family would drive down the street, and if they saw somebody on the bus, they'd be like, look at them fat on the bus stop. Look at them goddamn sissies. You know what I'm saying? I grew up hearing that. And so it's weird, though, because I'll never forget, I had graduated college. I'd moved back home, and my mom didn't have much money. Her car wasn't working, and she needed a ride to Walmart. And so I take my mom to Walmart one day, and I drop her off, and she says, I got something I want to talk to you about or whatever, but I see you in a rush. I'll just talk to you about it later.
And how old were you?
So I graduated college at 21, so I was about 23 at this time.
Okay.
And I said, okay, no worries. And my mom was a big talker, so I'm like, whatever. I didn't think anything of it. So then I pick her up like the next weekend, take her shopping, take her groceries to the house. And she's like, yeah, I got something I want to talk to you about. But I see you got some things to do, so I'll just talk to you later. So at that time, I kind of suspected what she wanted. And I had always told myself that if ever they asked, I would not lie. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't comfortable divulging, but I always said if they ever asked. So this third time, I pick her up, take her groceries in the house. She follows me outside, and she says, yeah, I got something I want to ask you or whatever. Well, first of all, hey, how you doing? And so whenever my mom said, how you doing, because that's just not the way she talked, it's about to be some shit. And she said, well, I have an aunt, one of my grandmother's sisters. For the sake of this interview, I'm just going to say her name was Bridget. She was like, Bridget going around saying, Bridget. I said, you want to know if I'm gay? Yes. I just blurted it out. And so she looks, and like you can see the air just get let out of her, right? And then she goes, did somebody touch you? And, in the sense of how she was asking, no. You know what I'm saying? No. I was like, no. And then she said, she teared up a little bit, and she said, I never wanted this for you. And I told myself, if you was gay, I'd kill you, or whatever. And then she's crying and she's talking, and she's just going on and on and on. You sure nobody touched you? What happened? Did I do something wrong? And I looked at her and I said, Ma, if I haven't figured this thing out in 23 years, I don't expect you to figure it out in 23 seconds. You know what I'm saying? And so that was that. I get in the car, I leave, and for about 2 years solid, my mom was extremely angry. And I'll never forget, my mom had a raggedy ass car that you had to put water in it like every 10 minutes. And so one day I'm in my apartment and there's a knock at my door. And I go to the door and it's my mom. I live on the second floor, and all I see is all this smoke coming out of her car, and she's holding a water bottle. And I open the door and this woman goes, look at you. I could see it all on your skin. I could see it in your skin. God's not pleased. I slammed that door in that bitch face so quick. Oh, no, ma'am. You and that raggedy ass car, I know you did not just show up to my house with this bullshit. I slammed that door in her face so damn hard, and she had to sit her ass outside my apartment for like an hour and a half in the Miami sun, because my mom's cars never had air conditioning. She had to sit out there sweating and all until her car calmed down or did whatever the hell it needed to do until she drove on and went about her damn business. You know what I'm saying? And then, what ends up happening, it's just so funny how, the black families don't want you to be gay, but they'll take your gay money. Baby, they will take your gay money in a heartbeat. And, so it's, when you're, and at the time I was just working a, normal job, making $50,000 a year. But when your mom needs $40, when she needs $75, all of a sudden that gay leave your skin real quick. All of a sudden your skin real clear and Neutrogena worthy or whatever. But I will say this, after being angry for about 2 years, she finally came around. She came around. I'll never forget, I had a conversation with her one time and I said, Ma, would you rather have a gay son or a dead son? And she said, Quentin, I'd rather have a gay son. And I said, I remember growing up, you used to say and all this stuff. I said, now that you know your son is one of these facts, do you still use those words? And she said, Quentin, I do not. I tell people my son is one of the gays. And I told my neighbor Janice, you got to love your son. She got a gay son. And Quentin, you should see him. When they come out to school, they just be a switching and a twisting, all down the highway. And I told my neighbor Janice, you got to love your son. You got to love him. And so it's just good to know that she came around in her own way. And even, going back to like you understanding your father, I'm not mad with her. I get it. Like every black family from the goddamn South and in the church was raised that way. It's just, I guess she would have probably been close to 50 or 50 something at that time. I was asking this woman to undo 50 something years of being taught one thing. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, and it goes back to the fact that, look, in the black community, way more back than it is now, it wasn't even a consideration that one of your kids could be gay. It just wasn't a thought, because I had gay uncles. Hey, Uncle Pete and Uncle Pete.
Oh, I was gonna blow my nose.
Okay, look, that's my gay uncle saying, bitch, don't spill my tea.
Okay. All on this thing. my aunt and my mom, they be like, don't put me on that Facebook.
But no, it goes to show that, look, I want you to know this. You do know that your mom and dad is looking down on you.
Most definitely.
So proud.
Most definitely.
And you have permanent guardian angels watching over you. And I'm sure you probably feel this way too. There's moments when you're going to feel their presence as you are protected from certain things.
Oh, yeah.
When you're saved from certain things, and when certain blessings come.
Most definitely.
Those are your parents.
I tell people all the time, I am one of the most dangerous people you can probably ever come in contact with, because I've got two parents working it out for me in the spiritual realm. And that's honestly how I look at it. I mean, and then when you factor in grandparents as well, but I'm literally like, I've got two parents working it out for me in the spiritual realms. Yeah, I totally agree.
You went to college. You are college degreed. I've always said this to you, and I say this to people, you are very smart. And people sometimes miss it because of your colorful commentary.
And the persona, and it's so easy to say, and you get the same comments too, we're messy sissies.
Oh yeah, no.
You know what I'm saying? Like, that's just, you see a gay man, you see an ounce of femininity, you see an ounce of flamboyance, and it's just, you're a messy sissy.
Oh no,
and it's one of the biggest misconceptions about both of us, you know what I'm saying? Because in my day-to-day life, I'm actually so far from it, but go ahead.
No. Listen, I relate to you in that sense too, because I create shows that have a lot of mess in it, for lack of a better word. I'm considered messy more so than my white gay counterparts. We get it because we're black, feminine, gay, whimsical. And I want to ask you that too, because do you feel like when it comes to you, the biggest misconception, and there's a lot about you, but one of the biggest misconceptions about you is that you are this messy black queen.
Yeah. And it honestly and truthfully is the furthest thing from the truth. And listen, I don't even, it's not even something that I try to fight anymore because I definitely understand it. First of all, I'm a gossip blogger. I'm a YouTuber. You know, I'm gay. And with the very limited images of black gay men in television and in media, it's the perfect recipe for people to adopt that mindset or that thought about me. But honestly and truthfully, in my real life, like I'm a very simple creature. I like to eat good, I like to shop, and I like to go to the bar and drink. And my life is very peaceful. I've got a small group of friends, and their mess is just the furthest thing. And people around me know that. Don't bring that crap to me. You know, I catch flack all the time on like YouTube when I say things like, I don't discuss other YouTubers, and people just don't understand why. And I'm like, because I don't like the drama and the mess that comes along with it. I don't like when my name is in the blogs and it's like Funky Dineva and Carlos King. I don't like that. You know what I'm saying? So that whole messy thing, it's just not true. But it's also something that I've just been used to for a very long time. I'm brazen. I'm cavalier. I don't mind saying what needs to be said in any circumstance. I'm at the forefront of a lot of things. I can articulate myself very well, and I talk a lot. You know what I'm saying? I talk a lot. So I can understand how people have that perception, but it's simply not true.
No, the thing is this. You know things about me that no one knows.
Yes.
You have known things about me back in the day. And I want to say this. I never said this publicly. Listen, there's a time when I used to like hang out a lot and party and all this other stuff. And I remember one day you called me. I would never forget this. You called me and said, girl, you need to chill out because people are talking about you and you need to sit down. I will never forget that. And at the time, you have a popular blog. And you could have easily reported it and said, girl, Carl was at the club and he was hanging out. You're not messy.
No.
And vice versa. There's things we know about. So that's why I get upset that we can be funny, entertaining. We talk about the same shit y'all talk about. Just because we do it with a little flair.
Pizzazz, right.
Yeah, we're considered messy. We talk about the same exact shit. Is Joe Rogan messy?
Right.
Is Howard Stern messy?
Right.
Is Harvey from TMZ messy?
And the sad part about it is, and they have no loyalty. You know what I'm saying? They have no loyalty. I'm going to tell you one of the greatest pieces of advice that I had ever gotten very early on in my career. Shouts out to John Murray. Sheree Shepherd's a good producer. Very early on in my career, I was talking to the phone, John Murray, and I knew John from AOL Black Voices. Like, that's how I first came accustomed to his name. But one day we were on the phone, and John Murray said to me, the true mark of a blogger is not what you tell, it's what you don't. And that just always stuck with me. And a lot of people, you know, and much like you, we have a lot of celebrity relationships. And how do you think I'm able to maintain these relationships with the Quads and the Heavenlies and all these different people? I know them girls T inside and out, you know what I'm saying? But I don't tell it, you know what I'm saying? And for what? They're my friends. And when you foster those types of relationships with people, they respect the fact, and they say, well, you know what, bitch? You know about that DUI I got last night, and you ain't tell nobody, so I'm gonna give you something. You know what I'm saying? I'm gonna give you. I'm gonna tell you about this bitch. Since you didn't do that, and thank you so much for you didn't do that, I'm gonna tell you about this. I'm gonna give you something. You know what I'm saying? You call it, ain't that how the girls do it?
Yes.
That's how they do it. You know what I'm saying? That's how.
You and I know so much shit about the girls.
You know what I'm saying? Yes.
We would never.
Never.
And that's why I get angry. Messy is spilling the tea of the shit we do know.
Something.
That's messy.
Let me tell you something, and you more so than I. Baby, I could unravel so many reality TV shows right now, baby. I could simply unravel them. I can pull one string and unravel whole productions with the things that I know. But what good is that? Like, what fun is that? For what? I get nothing out of it. You know what I'm saying? And a lot of people don't understand. That's another reason why I let my written blog go. I let funkydineva.com go. I let it go because, well, Several reasons. One, the industry was moving more towards video versus written blogs. That was one. And the only way that you could get your written blog to make money was exposing people and saying the most salacious stuff because you needed to get clicks in order to make money. And I just wasn't comfortable with it. I just did not like the way the industry was going. And I'll never forget the turning point for me was somebody sent me Benzino's naked pictures, and I posted them, and it just created this big shitstorm. Oh, it was that, and then it was, I think Carly Red at the time was saying Young Jock's dick was bigger than Benzino's, and then somehow or another I end up with Benzino's pictures in my email box and Young Jock's pictures in my email box, and I post them, and it's just all of this stuff was going on online. And then I'll never forget, Benzino was reaching out to me because, you know, he was mad that the world was like criticizing his manhood or whatever, and it was bothering him. And it is weird because he was like, it's so funny, he was like, that ain't the real picture, this the real picture or whatever. And I'm just like, Lord, there's a whole lot going on right now. But I'll never forget at the end of that, I was like, I don't feel, this just feels dirty. This, like, look at what you're doing. I'm like, you're posting people's naked pictures in order to, I was like, nah, this shit, y'all can have this shit. And that's when I left it. I left it alone. I was like, y'all can have it.
And it's funny because you had listen, you have a college degree, you had a corporate job. What made you transition into doing the blogging in the first place?
So I hated accounting, hated it from day one. But you know, when your education is in that and all of your work experience is in that, that's just simply the only thing that you're qualified to do. If I could have, I would have been a damn good school teacher, and I probably would have excelled in like an advertising or a marketing capacity. But when I was doing accounting, and you know, accountants make good money, there was never a right time to turn around and say, I'm going to leave accounting and go do a entry-level marketing job or go start school. So what I started doing was throwing parties in Atlanta, or at least attempting to upscale gay parties to kind of subsidize my creative side, because I didn't think that I could walk away from accounting. And as a result of doing that, I had a huge Facebook following, and I would just be at work and I'd be like, my boss brought her bald-headed ass in here today talking about her ugly ass children. Don't nobody want to hear this shit. And, excuse me. And so it became like a little soap opera that I would keep up on Facebook. And people, you know, a day or two would go by without me posting, and people would be like, where's your post? Like, what's going on with your boss? Like, you know, we need the update or whatever. And then Housewives of Atlanta comes out. I don't even think you know the story. Housewives of Atlanta comes out. And then that October, my friends and I decided we're going to be the housewives. We had a white girl with us, Roy Neal. She was Kim. And of course,
Who are you?
Of course,
Nene.
I'm Nene Leakes. Of course, I'm Nene Leakes. And it's so funny. And you know what? I actually think you should embed my very first YouTube video. It's called My Hair is Laid.
Okay.
Put it in the interview. You'll see it's on YouTube. My Hair is Laid. And I find this Halloween, we're the housewives. Fast forward to like December, I'm cleaning up the basement, and I find this wig up under the sofa. And I put the wig on, and this is the very first video that you guys will see. I'm like, yes, honey. Yes, bitch. My hair is laid, honey. Look at this bang, bitch. I'm just fat out on this wig. Like, I'm just feeling my beats with this wig, honey. I'm just feeling real pussy with this wig on, or whatever. And I thought the shit was so funny. And so I wanted to send it to some friends, but the file was too big to text. So I uploaded to this YouTube channel that I've had since I was a teenager. Just so you know how you have to sign up for YouTube. So I said, how can I show it to my friends? I upload it, and then I send them the link so they could see it. And I had another friend, my friend Tim Jones, dared me to put it on Facebook. And I put it on Facebook, and because I had this huge Facebook following, like it went viral, for lack of a better term. And of course the responses were mixed. Like the girls thought it was funny.
Of course.
All of the guys were like, man, what type of ass shit is this? What? And then now my phone's ringing off the hook from like all my friends. They're like, Quentin, like, I just got a call from, like, you need to take that down. Like, what are you doing? You know what I'm saying? And take it down for what? At the point at which the phone calls are going around, there's no need to take it down because the damage is already done.
Yeah.
Everybody's already talking. I did it. So I'm like, fuck it. I did it. It is what it is. And so, fuck it. I was having fun. And so, like a week later, I put the wig on again, and I'm just going off about like social issues and my bills and my job. And I said, oh shit, this shit's kind of invigorating, right? You know what I'm saying? Like with that wig on, I was able to say things that Quentin couldn't say. And so literally, guys, Funky Dineva literally just started out as like a journal. And I would just talk into it. Was never intended to be a business. And y'all got to understand, when I came out 13 years ago, the word YouTuber did not exist. The phrase social media did not exist. The word influencer did not exist. None of those things existed. And I at this point now, I've got like 4, 5, 6 videos of I'm just venting, just talking about random shit. And I get this email from YouTube. At that time, you had to be invited to partnership. I get this email. I didn't understand it. Again, YouTubers didn't exist. And so I ignore the email. What's this bullshit? I ignore the email. About a month or two later, I get another email. I'm bored at work. I fill the email out. And that month, I think I made maybe like $40 in YouTube cash. Like, okay, I was like, well, you know, gas money. I was like, whatever. And so the next month I make like $88. Now you gotta make $100 in order for YouTube to pay out. FYI, I make like $80. I'm like, okay, this could be gas money. Fast forward, I was sick at work. I took off Monday through Thursday. I called my boss on Thursday and I said, hey, John, listen, I said, I've been out up until Thursday. I might as well just stay out, get well. I'll either come in over the weekend or come in on Monday. And he said, you know, Quentin, you've been out this long. It creates a nice natural stopping point. He said, it creates a nice natural stopping point. He said, I can tell that you're not happy. So we're just going to end this relationship here. And I was so sick. I looked at that phone, Carlos. I rolled back over and put that damn phone on the bed. I just didn't give a damn. For one, accountancy is the type of thing. All I had to do was call the temp agency on Monday, and I'd have another job by Wednesday. I could temp somewhere. So I wasn't really pressed.
Got it. Yeah.
But so I was like, that's what I'll do. I did it before. And I said, okay, when I woke up that Monday and I got ready to do my thing, send my resume out, I said, you know what, Quentin? Sending your resume out for another accounting job is literally you auditioning for misery. You're walking in saying to somebody, excuse me, Carlos King, can you please pay me to be miserable? And I said, you can't do it. At the time, Obama was in office and unemployment in Georgia was about $1,400 a month. And I remember saying to myself, I don't know what this YouTube thing is. I made a couple dollars over here. Okay, if I can get $1,400 on unemployment, if I can get these videos to make another $1,400 or $1,500, that's $3,000 a month. I can live off of that. Mind you, my rent was only $600. So I was like, if I can get these videos, $1,500 from these videos, $1,500 from unemployment, I can live off of this. And within about 4 months, bitch, I was on the first Love and Hip Hop reunion. I'll never forget Katrina Daly. I'll never forget. I was sitting at home. I was doing my videos. That's when first season of Love and Hip Hop. Let me say this to you and to Mona. I would not have a career or be here today if it was not for the Real Housewives of Atlanta and if it was not for Love and Hip Hop. Those are Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. Those are the two shows that broke me. that put me on television, so on and so forth. I'm doing my little videos. You know, the first early seasons of Love and Hip Hop were the best. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I'm going in. And mind you, I'm the first bitch on YouTube to ever do reality TV reviews, okay? It was not a thing. It wasn't a thing until give me my things, bitches.
Do you feel like, not to cut you off, but I want to finish the story. Do you feel like you don't get your things? I will say this while you think. Me included, and I'm saying this to you on some real shit. We are able because of you. Me included. Me with my company, my shows I create. We are able because of you.
Thank you.
Me and every Black, white content creator who either do interviews or recap reality TV. I need you to know this. We all bow down to you.
You got to do all that.
No. We are.
But I
because
was one of the first.
No. My problem is this. What makes me upset is the moment people reach a certain level of success, they don't want to acknowledge the person who inspired them. And if you never heard it after today, I'm saying to you, I didn't get my start doing YouTube, but bitch, it doesn't miss me that I have the subscribers I have because we all know how algorithm works. Whatever you talk about, my shit comes up next. and people be like, so what Carl is going? So I need you to know that, but continue.
So do I get my things? No, I don't. But they're coming, and they're coming. They're coming. I feel them. They're the universe. My things are definitely coming. So where was I?
So you were doing Love and Hip Hop.
So I'm in the living room. I'm in the living room. I'm doing making a couple hundred on YouTube, get my little unemployment. I get an email from this producer named Katrina Daly or whatever. And she's like, hi, I'm a producer from Love and Hip Hop Atlanta. And we see your videos and we would like to know how much it would be if we could license your videos using Reunion. Now, mind you, I'm not in the business. I don't know anything. And at this time, I had met Candy. I had met Candy Burris. She literally was the only person I knew in the business. And so I called Candy and I'm like, listen, I got this email from this producer. I don't know what this is. Candy says, can I get my agent involved in this? And her agent is Tracy Christian, who is now my agent. And I have to give Candy her flowers. If it was not for Candy Burris, I would not have gotten an agent. You know, Tracy ended up becoming my representation. Is still my representation to this day. So she calls Tracy. You know the relationship between Tracy and Mona and all of that.
Yep.
And
she also reps Mona.
And also helps sell Love and Hip Hop to VH1 and all these things. So like, what better person? So this woman named Tracy calls me and goes, yeah, so I talked to them and they want to pay you $500 and use your footage in perpetuity. I had never heard the word perpetuity before. I didn't know what it meant. I was just so happy somebody saw my little black ass. Okay, so I was like, cool, let's do it. And then Tracy calls me back and she goes, hey, I just talked to them again and I got something better. I told them instead of using your videos, why don't they just use you? I was like, great. She said, but the bad news is they're not going to pay you. So I was like, well, bitch, where my $500? I was like, hold on. Like, y'all was just going, Mona, you an old tricky bitch, honey. Old tricky bitch. I was like, where my $500? So they fly me to, I'm gonna tell you how else Mona fucked my money up. Let me tell you. No, I'm gonna tell you. So they fly me to VH1. I do the whole thing. That's when I'm sitting in the audience with the wig on and everybody makes the big Dwayne Wade comparisons between me. Okay. So then fast forward after that, I developed this great relationship with Mona and the people that they love me. That's when they do the Love and Hip Hop Dirty Little Secret special. They filmed it at the strip club in Atlanta. Let me tell you how Mona fucked my money up. So I'm getting my good unemployment, my good $1,400 a month in unemployment. I go to that strip club, they hand me employment paperwork. I fill out the employment paperwork. I guess them hoes ran to the Department of Labor with that goddamn paperwork. Bitch, let's just say we filmed on a Tuesday. I was supposed to get my check on Thursday. Bitch, my unemployment did not come. Them girls said, no, ma'am, you got a job, Miss Girl. Them girls, mind you, Mona and them only paid me $500 more. That was my $500. Mona, you fucked up all my unemployment over $500. But I'm gonna tell you something. In that moment, that was a turning point because all I had to do was really just go back down to the unemployment office and explain to them this was a one-time gig and they would have started my unemployment up again. But I remember saying to myself, as long as you're getting this unemployment, you're gonna use it as a crutch. And so after Mona fucked up my unemployment, I never went back down there and reinstated it. I said, you're gonna grind this out. And I grinded it out, and then I just, I made $3,000, made $4,000, made $5,000. Now a bitch makes $50,000, but that's
you make $50,000 a month, minimally on YouTube.
Currently, on average. Mm-hmm.
On average,
yeah, floats between if I actually like do work, 50. If I do nothing, if I just bare minimum, just wake up, brush my teeth, and just jump on the camera, about 35, 38. See, that's why I don't care about the things and the accolades because I'm comfortable. You know what I'm saying? And it's like, and I've learned this from being in Atlanta around the TV girls. And this is another thing. I'm glad you're here. I used to always, be very honest with you. I had a chip on my shoulder with you and Mona many, many years ago because I'm like, damn, why them bitches won't put me on a show? Like, damn. I be doing they stuff and they call me and they claim they like all of this. Like, why they won't put me on a show? And I'll never forget, Mona called me one time and she said, Quentin, Dineva, what are you working on? And I said, what? She's like, so what do you want to do in this business? And I said, well, Mona, I ultimately want a talk show. I want to be a talk show host. And she's like, we're going to get there together. We're gonna do that. Just something like that. Mm-hmm. Girl, Mona ain't did shit. And I love Mona. Mona, I'm still waiting on my damn show. Mona ain't did shit. When Mona needs something, and I love Mona. I'm just joking, but Mona needs something.
We love Mona.
Mona will gas you up, honey. Mona will gas you up to get what you need, get what she needs. Girl, Mona ain't never paid me no more than $550 goddamn dollars. Okay, but I love you, Mona. You gave me my starts and you keep me working and you keep me, Mona, being on your stuff, I got paid on the back end through exposure, I guess. But what I've learned, what I've also learned too, like being in Atlanta and being around the girls on shows that you guys cast and stuff, I had always wanted to be on TV. And then, when you get into business, the TV girls used to make the internet girls feel like shit. Oh, you're just a YouTuber. You're just a YouTuber.
They still, some still do.
But the gag is, bitch, you only get paid for 13 weeks. And I don't have to deal with the stress that you do. I don't have to get drinks thrown on me. And I make more money than a lot of y'all. You know what I'm saying? I simply do. And that's what the girls don't understand. And I always tell social media people this. TV don't pay until it pays, okay? It don't pay until it pays. And a lot of the girls think just because a bitch on TV, they're making money. And when I started hanging out with the girls, and I was like, oh, your life is not fab. Like, you ain't got shit. And I was like, oh, baby, I'm content right here where I'm at. And I promise you, while I want my career has never been one of a producer has called me and given me this opportunity. Everything that I've always had and every level that I've always gone to, I've had to build it myself. And I'm all right with that because it gives me autonomy. I don't have to answer to nobody. I make the type of money that I want to make. I'm in control of what I make. And it's just easier, you know what I'm saying? And I can't be fired. I can't be let go because I ain't got no storyline, or I can't, you know what I'm saying, or the network is doing whatever. So honestly and truthfully, if I died on YouTube, I always tell people this: if God came down right now, Carlos, and said, Quentin Antoine Latham, I will never give you a morsel more than what you have right now, baby, I'm so content. I am so okay with that.
Listen, well, first of all, that's beautiful to hear. I do want to go back because I want to be able to answer your question too, because you and I have talked about this before, but I want to be able to address it for the audience too. You have called me once and said, well, bitch, you keep all these other bitches in these shows, bitch. Don't forget about your sister. And one thing I always said to you, and I'll say it publicly, I said two things to you. I said, one, these shows I'm doing now, you don't fit in the grand scheme of things. You don't fit in the construct of this show. And I would say number two, Quentin, I don't see you on reality TV.
You said you were not reality TV.
I don't see that. And what's funny is there not a lot. There's a couple of people in my life who'd be like, bitch, put me on. I'm like, put you on what? Reality. I said, that's not your testimony. And what you're getting caught up is being on TV and thinking being on TV translates into your value and monetary value. And I never saw that for you, which is why I was like, no, I want to create a show. I was trying to create a show with Quentin. We pitched to BET, MTV, all these places. Him in a Scooby-Doo van, baby, investigating the girls on the internet who be lying about, stuff, or my man cheating on me, check the DMs. I thought it was a great show idea. And I saw Quentin being Scooby-Doo in the driver's seat, investigative, and all this other stuff, because I always saw your platform parlaying into TV. And that's why when you started to do the love and hip hop stuff, and even the housewife stuff, my favorite thing you've ever done, is when you went to Chateau Sheree. And you wore a wig, and you were like, for the girls who live in Atlanta know this, you were like Karen Greer. Who's an Atlanta anchor. And you had your microphone, and you reporting live from Chateau Sheree. And I said, this man is a genius, because for me, as a producer at that time, I'm like, this does nothing but help the show. But a lot of people didn't think that way. Did Sheree Whitfield sue you?
Oh yeah. So it's funny because so 2 points. Let me hold that thought. When we pitched that show, and something that I realized, so we'll talk about this. I think at that time too, the black man with the beard with the wig was just too much.
Yes.
And it's funny because I realized in order to go to the next level and to secure more roles in television, I had to come up out that wig. And we'll get to that. Okay. But Sheree, yeah, girl, yes. I think Sheree is probably the first person that sued me. I've been sued a lot, or attempted to be sued. But believe it or not, that lawsuit with Sheree actually had very little to do with me and more to do with another blogger, a white lady blogger named Tamara Tattles, who at the time, me and Michelle Brown were friends, and we went out there and we did our thing, and it was on the internet, and the video had went around, and things were fine. It was there. I'm sure she probably was embarrassed. There was a white blogger named Tamara Tattles who I guess attempted to one-up me and Michelle, and she actually went into the house. At the time, it was just still like, they were building it, so it was still a wood structure, and the workers were out there doing it. It was a construction site. And she went on the property, in the house, looking around, talking to the Mexican people, taking pictures and stuff. And it was at that point where Sheree, and I don't blame her, she was like, oh no, I'm tired of this shit. I'm finna sue these bitches because y'all are going in my property. So, Michelle and I actually ended up getting sued, because I guess Sheree was like, well, shit, since I'm already down here finna sue this bitch, I might as well put everybody else's damn name on it too, because at least y'all seen the video. I was by the bus stop on a busy route with the answers, okay? I was on the bus stop on a busy route, and that lady went in her house. And so I absolutely do not blame Sheree for suing us. But yeah, ultimately it ended up getting thrown out. I think the judge, if my memory serves me correctly, said we had to stay away from her property for a year or 18 months or something like that.
Did you have to pay out of pocket to defend yourself?
Yes. Well, no. And I'm glad I didn't because I didn't have no money. I had a lawyer on Twitter, Judge Kimberly Bando, down in DeKalb County. I think Kim is in Clayton. Shouts out to Judge KB. An attorney reached out to me and offered to defend me for free.
Damn.
Praise the Lord, because I didn't have no money at the time.
You've been sued before? Not before. You've been sued by other reality stars or celebrities?
No, I think Chris Stokes filed suit against me. Sheree filed suit. Couple other people have tried, but they just always get thrown away. They always get thrown. You know, people try. It's very, very, very hard to prove defamation. It's extremely hard to prove defamation. Like you've got to prove, you know, number one, what the person said was false and erroneous, and then you've got to prove that it cost you some type of monetary harm. And that's the part that always gets, girl, you ain't even got nothing going on. What did it harm? And it's the truth. And everybody else is saying it. You know what I'm saying? So, you know, and a lot of bloggers, I've actually like mentored a lot of bloggers through the cease and desist process and the court process or whatever. And then, you know, you'll find a lot of times that these celebrities, the new game is, we don't even want to win. We just want to bankrupt you. You know what I'm saying? We just want to bankrupt you. So we just want to get you, you know, caught up in court. And it's funny because you have to defend it, because if you don't, they'll get a default judgment against you. Then you will owe. But that's the name of the game now. So all you bloggers out there, you know, on all that messy shit and just running with stuff, you know, chill out.
Who would you say is a YouTube blogger that you feel like has next? Like when you look at him or her being the legend that you are, would you say like, now that bitch is going to be not the next you, could you still hear, but like.
Just so you know, there are a lot of people on YouTube that have a lot of talent, right? DJ Richie Sky is a great friend of mine. I love what he's got going on because he's polished. Mm-hmm. He's polished. Like Funky Dineva will never be ETV material. I'll never be on ETV. I'm not that. That's just not what I give. I'm not, and I'm okay with that. I love him. I absolutely love Bondi Blue. Mm-hmm. Although we are not in a relationship and I don't have an issue with this person, I just don't particularly care for the way they move. But there is something to say about the business that Tasha K has built. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't necessarily agree with her methods and some of the things that she does. And I spoke earlier about being in exposure culture. I don't particularly care for that, but she definitely, you know, she has something. There's a lot of people out there that have something, you know, like Lovely T and her reporting abilities. There are a lot of people, but you know, even Armon Wiggins, like Armon is good in the silo that he's good in, like that female rap stuff. He's good. That was why, you know, when I made my departure from Fox Soul, which is perfect segue because I'm sure that's where we're going. I'm sure, you know, but that was why I was like, you know, this guy is good. And I don't want nobody on YouTube to get mad if I left anybody's name, and I don't want y'all to think I'm being shady. I'm going to be very honest with you, Carlos. I do not watch other YouTubers at all.
Oh, I know that for a fact.
I don't at all.
You never have, though.
I don't, and believe it or not, I don't consume YouTube content. I don't. And people are always like, why? And it's for several reasons. My brain is a sponge, okay? Everything that comes out of my mouth are things that I've picked up from just my life experiences, and I never want to be on my platform and then end up like saying your catchphrase or saying other people's stuff. That's the main reason why I don't look at a lot of other YouTubers. And then too, like, because we all are in this pop culture world, after I do my piece on it, I really don't care what you got to say about it. I'm moving on to the next thing. But there's a lot of talent in the YouTube space, and then there's a lot of people who need to go sit their ass the fuck down. It's a lot of people just need to go sit the fuck down. But I would love to see like Bondi Blue blow up. She's from New Orleans. I just love everything that she's got going on. I would.
Yeah, she's beautiful.
I would.
too.
She is. I
Yeah.
would like to see Armon mature a little bit so he can really get everything that the universe has for him. And you know, I'll say it on camera because I'll say it to his face. Armon, you do need to grow up a little bit. You need to grow up a lot of bit. And I think once he grows up a little bit and matures, I think that the universe is definitely going to open up and give him all the things that he deserves.
Why do you think he needs to grow up? In what aspect? Have you seen that make you say that?
Just from like an older person once being young. You know what I'm saying? It's not one particular thing or another. It's just you know, there's just a small, from my perspective, it's just a small maturity factor that is missing. You know, coupled with obviously, you know, some things that I know that kind of transpired in the background with Fox Soul and all that type of stuff. There's just a maturity piece there. And this is not a read or not to be messy, but
No.
Armon, and I'm telling you this, it's kind of like, you know, granted, we don't have a big brother, little brother relationship, but if I could be in this space, a big brother, like once he's got it, he's got the stuff.
Baby,
Armon's got the stuff.
Armon has next.
He's got the stuff.
And as two gay black men
got the stuff.
In this business who are successful, I agree with that. I think
he's definitely got it.
He has it. He's
just got to
He's
grow
very
up.
talented. Have you? Well, let me go backwards. Has he ever just reached out to you for advice or?
No. So he interviewed. So we met once because he interviewed me once. He came down to Miami. And so that's kind of how we fostered our relationship. And then when the Fox Soul situation came out, when he was in the running, like we definitely did have several conversations. And I just, you know, was like, do this, do that. You should ask for this. You shouldn't ask for that. You know, here is the lay of the land type of thing. And I definitely, I will say this. I feel like in that situation, I did for him what I would want someone to do for me at a job. Like I was like, here is the official handbook on how to do the job. And then here is the unofficial handbook. Here is all the backstory. Stay away from this bitch. Don't talk to this one. Watch what you say in front of this one. Ask for this, ask for that. Don't do this, don't do like. I literally gave him all of my experience. I poured into him because I would want somebody to do that for me. You know what I'm saying? So that has been our relationship. We're not like super close and we don't talk on the phone, but I would do that for anybody that was coming in behind me. When I made my departure, I wanted that show to succeed. I did. I just ain't want to work there no more, but I wanted the show to succeed. And I knew that they needed somebody. I knew that they were going to try to mimic my energy. I knew that for a fact. But they couldn't, you know, so don't even waste your time trying. But they needed somebody who was brazen, cavalier, not afraid to speak. And I felt like of all the people in the YouTube landscape, he or T.S. Madison were the best ones. Madison was unable to do it for whatever her reasons were.
Was Madison asked first before Armon?
Yes, from my understanding, yes. Not from my understanding, yes, she was, or whatever. And it schedule conflicts and the money wasn't right.
Okay.
So she turned it down.
Why were you so unhappy at TGIF? Because from the outside looking in, because we've known each other for almost 20 years, I know my sister, and I said, oh, this bitch got a job where he gets to clock in for an hour, read the girls, get a check, and because the biggest thing for you that I know personally is you value your freedom.
Yeah.
You love freedom.
Yeah.
And I felt like this is a good opportunity for him. And I texted you like, bitch, this is actually good.
Yeah.
And I was always proud to guest co-host with you or when you had to do other things. Yeah. Just so y'all know, when he had to do other stuff and couldn't be on, he would refer me or sometimes they would ask him like, you okay if Carlos do it? So I want y'all to know like, this is what support looks like. You're not somebody like that bitch. I don't want to, you know, Wendy Williams said so popularly, I want nobody
taking my
take my spot, bitch.
Yeah, and see, I was never one of those types of girls. Cause you know, it's just, you know, I'm good at what it is I do, and you know, other people are good, and I'm just not like that. But
why were you so unhappy? Because I thought it was like, this is a good gig.
The infighting, and the just every damn day you came to work, it was fucking something, and it's just like, bitch, we only got to be on this shit for an hour and a half. I'm just not understanding why a motherfucker cannot just read the goddamn topics, come to work, do what we need to do, log the fuck out, and that just be that. You know what I'm saying? It just, things got personal, people's feelings started getting intertwined. And to be clear, and I'm not speaking out of turn because Claudia spoke about it when she was on your thing. The shit didn't have nothing to do with me. It was a lot of, you know, just me being caught in between her shit, her and Al, whatever the fuck they had going on. And it was dumb. It was dumb to me, okay? And so let me give you the recipe for why I walked. Number one, like you said, bitch, I ain't had no job in 13 years, okay? Q don't work. So the fact that I gotta now punch a goddamn clock every day, that's already a compromise, right?
And not to stop you, you also are a solo star. So coupled with clocking in, you have to work with people.
Well, I didn't mind that. I like that.
But meaning, because I know what this feels like. Meaning, you call the shots. You can say what you want to say and boot. But when you have to work with people, their shit becomes your shit.
Right. And so you're right, because and then now I'm having to, you know, take into consideration other people's feelings and rules and corporate protocols and procedures and all this type of stuff. Whatever. So it's like, okay, number one, you know, knock on wood, I already don't need the job, okay? I don't need it. Now, great, $250,000, bitch, everybody could use an extra $250,000. But I don't need it, number one. So I'm not finna be stressed for it. I'm just not, you know what I'm saying? And it just became, I'm already working every day, Monday through Thursday, 2 shows on Thursday. Then we log on, it's a shitstorm every damn day. It's something. It's a call here, an email this. This person said that, I'm feeling this way. It was too much damn feelings, okay? And then the last piece was just the negotiation piece. It was like, you know, I don't know what job you work on, at what Starbucks job. They said, Carlos King, we're going to start you at $7 an hour part-time. And then they come back and say, guess what, Carlos? We like you so much, we're going to promote you to full-time, but we're going to cut your pay to $5.15. How is it last week my value was $7? You like me. We're bringing the company in more money. You want to promote me, but you want to cut my pay. That just, what world does that make sense? You know what I'm saying? And so I was down to rock with it because it's all about, you know, I'll work with you. Again, I don't need the money. It's good extra money. I will work with you and see what this thing will become. So when, you know, when Tracy was negotiating the deal, the people came back and said, listen, Tracy, you know, we still trying to get things going over here. Just work with us. This is what we'll do. Instead of making Q sign for 12 months, we'll make him sign for 6 months. And then at the end of 6 months, you know, we'll see where things are and we'll negotiate. Now, here is where the insult comes in just a little bit, and where I felt slightly insulted. Because I was going to walk then. I was going to walk then. I was cool. So you bait me by saying, just do it for 6 months, work with us a little bit, and we'll kind of see what things are. When the 6 months roll around, I had even forgot my damn contract was up. All of a sudden, they're hounding me about, you know, oh shit, your contract. Are you going to sign? Are you going to sign? Are you going to sign? Then when you email us the contract, it's the same contract from 6 months prior. I understand it's their job to negotiate. It's our job to negotiate. Okay. I was not asking for additional money. I wasn't asking for extra money. I was asking for what you had already been paying me. You know what I'm saying? I was asking for, you know, the $250 an episode that you took away from me. And mind you, y'all, if I'm being honest, the deal fell apart over $250. Ain't that the petty of it all? Ain't that the petty of it all? The deal fell through over $250.
How?
Because my rate originally was $1,250. They cut us to $1,000. I just wanted the $250 back, which at the end of the year across the contract would have been $60,000 in total. You know what I'm saying? Right. It would across episodes. And so then it was one of those things where it was like, okay, if you can't give him the $250, you know, can you at least put him on the health insurance? And the people wouldn't even put me on the health insurance. You know what I'm saying? So
Are your other co-hosts on?
no,
Okay.
nobody was. Nobody
Okay.
was. But it's like, and granted, I don't know the ins and outs, but from where I sat, I'm like, Fox is a big ass corporation. To put one more name on the damn spreadsheet for health insurance, the number's going to be so damn small, you're not even going to recognize it. Like, what's another $200 a month to the damn company? And it was just like, okay, you won't even put me on the health insurance. I was like, yeah, I don't feel valued here. And that's really what it was. I was like, I don't feel, damn, I can't even get on the health insurance. I was like, all right, well, cool. And they just did not want to budge. And I was like, cool, I'm out. And, you know, it sucks because, you know, unfortunately, the show ended up going away. And I just look back at it and I wonder if the people in charge look at the person who was responsible for like negotiating my contract. And it's like, the whole thing went to shit over $250 or your unwillingness to give them fucking health insurance. And the whole thing literally went to shit. That show went to shit for no reason. It didn't have to.
So going back a little bit, you obviously talked about a lot of infighting. Obviously, everyone has said, even Claudia to me, that you had nothing to do with what was going on. What in your, whether it's what you know or think, what was it between Claudia and Al that just made things so negative working at that time?
I don't know. I don't know because I know that they had a long-standing relationship for years prior. Carlos, honestly, I don't know. I honestly do not know. You know, there was an incident, and this is just from me like piecing together things from all the blogs and stuff. There was an incident where Claudia got a screenshot of a text message from Al. And in the text message, he had said, and I'm only speaking about this because she's made it be known because I don't want to be in nobody's mess. She got a screenshot from Al where he had said something unfavorable about her to Nene Leakes, okay? And it got back, you know, Claudia saw it, and that at that time had created a big shitstorm, and we got through it. So I thought. And the reason why I say so I thought is because now in present day, a lot of what I'm seeing online is people regurgitating or repeating that Claudia says, you know, Al was talking about her and that's when shit went wrong. You know what I'm saying? And so I thought we had got over that. I'm guessing maybe we never did. I'm guessing. I don't know. But that's just.
There's been said that allegedly Al would contact producers, human resources, and do a lot of complaints and was a diva behind the scenes. Would that be true?
I don't know what was going on after I left. When I was there, from my vantage point, that wasn't a thing. I'm pretty confident in saying that that's probably something that came about after I left. But when I was there, that wasn't a thing. None of us liked the damn producers. If I'm being honest, like, so there was no buddying up to the producers because none of us liked them. That wasn't going on when I was there. Now, if it was going on after I left, I don't know.
What is it that you would like to say about your friendship with Al? Because there is this perception that, again, you know, he's a diva, he's this, and I know that you two are close. What would you say about his character and his personality and who he is that the world doesn't see or may not know?
So I don't think, me personally, I don't think that Al is a diva. And he didn't exemplify diva qualities when we were there. Honestly and truthfully, when I was there, Al was the most insecure of the three of us. You know what I'm saying? And he was always like, kind of like worried, you know what I'm saying? Like worried that he wasn't doing good, or worried that people didn't like him, or, you know, he always had to have his notes and stuff. And he always kind of felt, you know, a little inferior to Claudia and I, because he was like, you know, you guys are more experienced than this, than us. I did not experience any diva-like behavior when it came from Al. Like I said, after I left, I don't know what happened. And I can't speak about anybody else's relationship and experience. I have not experienced Al in that way. Me and Al, obviously, we've got being LGBT in common. Al's a good time. He liked to drink and he liked to party. And those are things that I like to do. You know what I'm saying? And that really is the level of our relationship. Are me and Al on the phone telling each other our deepest, darkest secrets? No. And as a matter of fact, I didn't even talk to Al in about 2 or 3 weeks. I FaceTimed him last night and he was out. He didn't answer the phone. So, you know, we're cool. This thing that me and Al are so damn close. I know we're not. Like, you know what I'm saying? I would like to be. I mean, our relationship is growing. But Al is just a good time. It's a good time. It's the same way me and you, bitch, meet me at the bar, bitch. Let's go have some drinks and eat. That is what Al is to me. He's a good time.
Yeah, and my time guest co-hosting, the times I've had, he was fine.
Yeah.
Al's cool. Al's
Yeah.
great. I don't have any issues with Al. Al's a great person. Al's very prepared.
Yeah, but he got his notes and stuff.
And what I saw with this show that I love so much, I felt like it was the perfect balance.
It was.
I'm like, you're the wild card who, like, we'll know what he's gonna say. Claudia, great moderator, and Al brought the sophistication. And I thought it checked all the boxes.
And I never had an issue working with her. And I think even Claudia shared it. Even after I left, I was like, listen, guys, you know, this particular situation didn't work out because of the contract, but in the future, if y'all ever want to, you know, do something again, we had lightning in a bottle, Carlos. We really did. We really did. We did. We had lightning in the bottle. And honestly and truthfully, you know, the right opportunity came around, and if we were able to recreate it under the right circumstances, I'd be open to it. It was fun. The culture needed it. And here was the thing that's unfortunate. There was the space was wide open. Wendy Williams, she gone. The Breakfast Club was in flux. Okay, they were auditioning 900 damn people at a time. That urban pop culture like space, that space was wide open, and it was ours for the taking. It really was. You know, something else that was slightly frustrating too, and another reason why I decided to walk and not stick it out with Fox Soul, is because nobody was giving us a clear direction on what we're doing. Are y'all taking this show to TV? We've been here now for 4 years. What are we doing? You know what I'm saying? Is the network growing? Is it, and every time we would ask questions, people would just talk in circles. And so another layer to me walking away is, I don't need you to sit on YouTube, okay? If anything, I'm trying to elevate beyond YouTube. I don't need you for YouTube, and I'm not being cocky, I'm not being arrogant, I'm not trying to be any of those things, but the lion's share of the people watching are my audience. I brought these people here. You know what I'm saying? Like when Fox Soul started, they had everything they had going on. And here is the proof in the pudding, because there were some incidences where, you know, people were feeling themselves and didn't want to give a bitch their things, okay? You had Queens with Cocktail, which was Vivica Fox, Selena Johnson, Lisa Ray, and Claudia Jordan. Undeniably, all 4 of those women individually have a much higher profile than I do.
Absolutely.
Undeniably.
Yep.
But collectively, they couldn't even do the numbers that we were over there doing on TGIF. You see what I'm saying? So it's one of those things where your popularity per se ain't got shit to do with what's going on right here. You see what I'm saying? And when I left, the numbers left. Those were my people. Those were my people. So why am I going to just sit here with all of this going on, you know, the contract ain't looking too right, and just continue to let y'all leech off of my damn people when I can just take my people back to where they came from and keep the money? You see what I'm saying? And then what ended up happening is, I'm like, well, I was already making whatever it is I was making. And then things got a little messy. I'm not gonna lie. I started doing my show at 8 o'clock at the same time as theirs to be messy, bitch. I'm not gonna.
See, I can appreciate
Yeah.
that.
Yes.
We are messy.
Oh, yeah.
We can say,
Oh,
no,
yeah.
that was messy.
Yeah.
That other thing you're talking
because
about.
I said, oh, really? Oh, bitch, I'll fix you. I said, bitch, like Rasputia Lattimore said, she want to go down the slide. I'ma show a bitch how to go down the slide. You know what I'm saying? And then it was like, well, you know what, Q? You were already sitting in the chair at 8 o'clock every night any goddamn way. Keep it going. You know what I'm saying? You were over there doing this same job, getting $250 for them. You can just do it for yourself and make $5. You know what I'm saying? Keep all the money. And that's essentially what I did.
Okay. When you saw Armon's roast to Al, what was your first thought?
A battery was put in his back. A battery was put in his back. These are my thoughts. Can't prove it. Don't know for a fact. I thought a battery was put in his back. I thought it was deeply personal. I thought it was extremely unprofessional. I thought it was completely I thought it was gross. I thought it was gross. And the reason why I thought it was gross is because obviously in having had work there, a lot of the things that he was saying, he had not even been there long enough to experience or even know what the fuck he was talking about, okay? And it's just the things that were coming out of his mouth had trappings of somebody gave him this information. He simply had not been there long enough. And going back to our earlier conversation when I was talking about the maturity piece, that's the thing right there. Like I laid out for Armon everything he needed to do to be successful at that show. And in my opinion, he went there and did the complete opposite. And I'm very disappointed in him for it. I am, because I rooted for you. I rooted for you when there were actually people working against you being there. And I informed him that there are people who don't want you there. There are people who are going out of their way to not have you here. Told him who the people were and everything. And then I told him everything he needed to do to be successful there. And you went up there and drank the Kool-Aid and got lost in the sauce and did the complete opposite. And if I'm being honest, was a major contributing factor as far as I can see as to why the shit got canceled.
You think it's his fault?
I don't think it's his fault. Okay. I don't think it's his fault. I think that he was a major contributing factor. That roast was just, in what world do you go to your job and do that? A mature person who was looking at the future of the collective, the show, and the energy of three people who have to get along, a mature person would have never done that. They simply would not have done that. You can't tear up the chemistry. There was no bouncing back from what was said to Al in that roast.
And not that you're speaking for Al. We all heard when he called you baby. And the reason why, again, guys, you guys have proof he's not messy. A messy bitch would have made sure that I got the exclusive. Al is on. I keep telling him I'm live, and he keeps talking. You literally said, stop. I'm live. I will call you back. Obviously, he was upset based on what we heard out of his own mouth. When it comes to that rose, I honestly was like, oh, okay, it's a rose. Because again, I don't know the history or whatever. I don't watch TGI. I did not watch TGIF enough to know that a lot of that was rooted in reality. I just thought like it was grossly exaggerated until I was informed that no, motherfucker, a lot of that was
all of it.
Yeah,
all of it. Like it was like, yeah.
When you learned that it was officially canceled, what was the first thought that went through? Like, was it a thought of sadness or I told you so, bitch? Or
Listen, I'm human. I'm human. I have natural emotions. Vindicated. You know, my first response was, had them hoes gave me my $250, the shit wouldn't have been canceled. I'm just keeping it real. I had them hoes gave me my $250 or put me on the damn health insurance, the shit wouldn't have been canceled. That was my first thought. You know what I'm saying? And then the second was like, you know what I'm saying? Damn, this just did not have to be. Like, I was disappointed in everybody. I'm like, y'all let the shit fall apart in 5 damn months after I left, 5 or 6 months, and then coming off the roast, I'm like, this shit just didn't have to be. I after feeling vindicated, I felt frustrated. I was like, because this is stupid, and y'all had something, and it could have taken everybody to the next level. Y'all could have. I could have been like Portia, took a season off and came back the next season. After them girls that got a TV schedule. I'm like, girl, child planning on maybe coming back. You know what I'm saying? I was disappointed. I was disappointed. I was like, y'all hoes need y'all job. I was like, Armon, this is great next level for you. Al, you don't work in TV, and granted, you know, Claudia does her thing, she does well. But Claudia does like movies and stuff. That's gig work. You know, you get a gig here, you may not work for a few months, you get another gig. It was a nice, stable paycheck for everybody. I'm not reading, it's a nice, stable paycheck. And I'm like, y'all fucked y'all check up over dumb shit. Who can't use an extra $250,000?
Baby, I don't care what you
know,
make.
So I just feel like it was a dumb reason. And honestly and truthfully, I feel like the person that lost the most in the situation was Armon. Because he had the most to gain from it.
Do you think he can move on from this?
Most definitely. Listen, your talent will always prevail. He's got the talent. Most definitely.
Okay.
Most definitely. But I just feel like in this situation, he had the most to gain.
What's next for you, though? Because everything happens for a reason. You are killing it. Welcome back, bitch. We've missed you. Your politics segments and shows you've been doing with Amanda Seales have been super informative. It shows the diversity of your talent. That you also took a break from reality television. You just felt like it's the same old, same old. I want to say this to you too. You are hugely responsible for the success of the Love and Marriage Huntsville show.
I love that show.
You are
Thank you.
Hugely responsible. I have never once asked you to watch any of my shows.
Oh, you know what? You know the rumor is I'm on your payroll. They love saying that, or Carlos King brought him in for damage control. I'm like, damage control? I'm on your payroll and I'm on the Scott's payroll. Carlos has never called and asked me to do nothing for no show. At least Mona gave me $500. Carlos ain't never bought me a goddamn crystal snack. Okay.
I owe you a lot. I'll make it up to you, baby. No, he's my friend in real life. He watched the season 1 Bell Collective and said, I hate this show, bitch. This show is awful. I said, wait till season 2 come out there. So he doesn't watch things because we're friends, and he doesn't say nice things because we're friends. You are hugely responsible for that. Is the reason why I love you. In terms of what you're doing for my genre of reality television. We are nothing without you. I remember talking to an Atlanta housewife who shall remain nameless. At one point, Wendy Williams stopped talking about Atlanta housewives. And she said to me, the ratings suffered because Wendy Williams doesn't talk about it anymore. And I saw that as she's right. It's a privilege to have you guys, you and Richie Sky and Make It Make Sense and like you said, Bondi Blue, whether you like me or not, talk about this show, Kempire. There's so many people who I appreciate. And again, they don't always say great things about me or the show. I don't take anything personally. But I will never discredit a content creator's purpose for my shows, and you are at the hem of that. So what's next for the doll?
Syndicated nighttime talk. That's the goal. That's what we're working towards. That's what's happening. That's what's
You're working towards that?
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal. I'm actually moving back to Atlanta to work on that. I'll be back in Atlanta. This is the first time I'm saying this publicly. I'll be back in Atlanta September. Sign my lease and everything. I pick up my keys August 16th. I will be back in Atlanta, so I'm coming to kick ass and take names. I figured if that's ultimately where I'm going, I need to get back in the mix. I need to be back with the girls. I need to be at the parties. I need to be at Carly Red dress premiere. I need to be at Mimi Faust's birthday party. I need to be at Rashida lipstick line launch. You know, all the tired ass Atlanta events, child. Them Atlanta events will wear me out. If one more bitch, Nene Leakes t-shirt launch, Portia Sheets party. Atlanta will have a party for the most silly ass non-revenue generating business in a heartbeat. But yeah, I need to get back in the mix. So I'm coming to Atlanta to get back in the mix and get back into tea and stir shit up and yeah.
Ooh, are you dating? Are you in love?
I am.
You're in love?
I'm definitely headed there, yeah. Yeah. I've been with somebody now for a year. That's another reason why I'm moving to Atlanta, to be closer to him.
Is he black?
Very black.
Is he an African?
Nah, he ain't no African. You see what happened with Portia, honey? No, man. No, man. Them Africans won't goop me.
How did y'all meet?
We met in New Orleans at the Essence Festival, at the Page.
Is he in our business?
No. I would never date nobody in our business. Got a good corporate job. Is a good man, Savannah. A good man.
You're in love. Well, you're headed there. Yeah. And wow, you are growing up. And the thing is this, based on where your life is headed now, do you finally feel like, because we've had personal conversations, and one day you called me, you said, Carlos, I feel stuck. I feel stagnant. Why aren't I at the level of certain things? And we've had a conversation about that. Do you still feel that way, or do you finally feel like the doors are opening up? And what did you, though, internally do differently to get all of these blessings that you well deserve?
Well, number one, I had to get the fuck up out of Atlanta and get grounded. You know, I lost my way a little bit, and I always tell people, whenever you lose your way, go home. Whenever you lose your way, go home. And that's what I did. Came back to Miami, got grounded, got focused. And just got intentional. You know what I'm saying? Like, coming up out of the wig, that was very intentional. Q can get in places Funky Dineva can't. You know, I'm not sitting on MSNBC with Simone Saunders in a goddamn wig and a makeup and so on and so forth. I'm not sitting next to Amanda Seales talking politics in a goddamn wig. You know what I'm saying? Hell, I might not even made it to Fox Soul in a damn wig. I had to get very intentional. And then, you know, once I did and once I got focused, things just opened up. But but just also just finding internal happiness. You know what I'm saying? Through therapy, through peace, through, you know, fortified relationships with people that I've known for years, just finding that peace and just being content with who I am and what I am. Growing up a little bit, stop worrying about the superficial. To your point earlier, the whole TV aspiration, that was all rooted in superficiality. I wanted to be a bad bitch. I wanted to be Miss Quad. I wanted to be Portia, bitch. I want a Rolls Royce, bitch. I want to walk in and everybody be like, who's that? You know, a lot of that was rooted in that. And then once you kind of just get out of that and realize that shit ain't cracked up to be what everybody thinks it is and get real, you know what I'm saying? It's just the universe just opened up.
A lot of people feel like you hate black women.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people feel like you are very disrespectful to black women. Mm-hmm. Your audience, I don't know your demographic, but I'm assuming is more than 90% black women.
Overwhelmingly.
What do you have to say to people who think like he talks about us, he demeans us, he uses his platform to throw all the shade our way, and we are the ones
who support him? So I definitely understand that if that is the lens that you're choosing to approach my content from, that's definitely what you will get. Here is what people fail to understand, and you've even said this, that why there's no reality TV shows with all men, because they're boring, you know what I'm saying? It just doesn't work. Women drive pop culture. Pop culture is just a female-driven situation. So yes, every time I get on the thing and I'm talking about somebody, it's Nene Leakes, and it's Mimi Faust, and it's Wendy Williams, and it's, okay, but there's nobody else to talk about. You know what I'm saying? Like, and that's the part that people fail to realize. All of the shows that people know me for and that they love, the show, who are they centered around? They're centered around black women. Every blog, every story on the Shade Room right now, who are the topics? They're black women. So I totally understand how somebody can have that perspective, you know what I'm saying? But if they look deeper and understand, listen, y'all, if you find me some shows with 5 black men on it that's just tootsie rolling and doing all the things and getting all of the media coverage that the women are getting, I will gladly talk about it. It's just the content simply is not there with the men. That really is where it starts and stops. There are moments where I take things too far. I mean, I do a show every damn day, you know what I'm saying? And it's going to happen again. It's just life. But the other thing that's interesting sometimes, Carlos, about being in this space and just why I just have to be unapologetic about what I do is because the same thing people hate you for, it's the same thing they like you for. If people scour my commentary, I have said far worse things about some other people. But we pick and choose who we want to protect and who we don't. I can get on my camera right now and I can talk. I can say some of the most vile things about Sukiana, Sexy Red, you know, Nene Leakes, Wendy Williams. I can say whatever I want to say about them and nobody will flinch. That protect black women shit goes out the door. But let it be, you know, somebody that people like. And somebody had to explain to me, they were like, you know, Chloe's unproblematic, Funky Dineva, and that's why we had an issue with your commentary. And I get that, you know what I'm saying? I get that, but, you know, it's just weird because it's like, you know, I don't necessarily always know who y'all protecting this week and who y'all not protecting. You know what I'm saying? It gets convoluted sometimes, but yeah, I'll take accountability for the fact that sometimes I can go too far. Yeah. It's par for the course. It comes with the territory.
Yeah. No, and that's
especially when you're trying to get a laugh. You know what I'm saying? Like when you're trying to get a laugh and you're trying to get a read and you're in the zone.
And you're live.
You know what I'm saying? You're in the zone.
Well, look, I see the growth that you're doing. Mm-hmm. And you have a huge following that love you, that ride for you. And all jokes aside, I'm very proud of you.
Thank you.
And I'm so happy to witness your growth and to really see the evolution of you.
Thank you.
It's like you're evolving into the woman you were meant to be.
That part.
Give it
That
up
part.
for Punky.
Thank you.